Alrighty, YouTube, Niner Empire, what is going down? Welcome back to another video. So we are a day removed from the Deebo Samuel trade. He was traded yesterday to the Washington Commanders for a 5th-round pick. With that, the Washington Commanders are taking on the remaining of his salary for next season, which is around $17.5 million. So now the question is, how will the 49ers replace Deebo Samuel and how they might plan to replace Deebo Samuel? So, number one, Brandon Ayuk's recovery time is going to be key. And obviously, there are reports going around out there that, the 49ers will trade him for the right price. And I 100% think that they will. Obviously, Brandon Ayuk is set to be, the 49ers' top receiver once he comes back. And John Lynch did say a couple days ago that, he's been putting in the work to come back. And he said that depending on, how he attacks his, rehab process and recovery time will determine how fast he can come back, and obviously the hope is that he can come back at a faster rate and we can get him back before the start of the second half of the season. But you never know. But obviously with Brandon Ayuk out still, Jauan Jennings expected to probably step up and be that top receiver. He had a breakout season last year, 77 catches, 975 yards and 6 touchdowns. He finished 10th in the NFL in yards per route run. And he only recorded 1 drop all year. He's a great blocker. His physicality has always been a key part of his game. And Jauan Jennings is entering the final year of his contract. He's carrying over a $4.2 million cap hit in 2025, which is absurd. And obviously another strong season for Jauan Jennings could make it difficult for the 49ers to keep him beyond next year. So I don't know. I mean, when you look at a guy like Ricky Pearsall, his development will be crucial. With Deebo gone, he has the opportunity to take on a much bigger role. His rookie season, obviously dealt with the tragedy of being shot. But he also had hamstring and shoulder injuries that kept him out most of, the training camp. And, when he returned to the field, it took some time to get into the rhythm for him. But over the final 3 weeks of the season, he recorded 18 catches for 247 yards and 2 touchdowns. And he kind of hinted at, his potential as a reliable weapon for Brock Purdy within this offense. So, the 49ers are clearly going to be counting on Ricky Pearsall to take a leap in year 2, especially since Jauan Jennings' future beyond 2025 is pretty uncertain. But even Ricky Pearsall said, he's excited to build on stuff that he left off on and continue to kind of grow as a player. He said, and I know now what's expected. I'm not going to be a rookie anymore, so nothing's going to be really new, so I'm able to definitely grow. So obviously, with Jauan Jennings and Brandon Ayuk and Ricky Pearsall, those 3 guys are the top 3 targets in this receiving group as of now going into 2025. But you have to think that with the 49ers trading Deebo Samuel, they're going to have to go out in free agency and in the draft and add some depth at the position. And that obviously then lingers the question, who could the 49ers target in free agency and in the draft to kind of help out this wide receiver core and get another veteran type of guy or a rookie that could come in and be one of Brock Purdy's targets for many years to come. So obviously in free agency and whatnot, they could pursue guys like Robert Woods, Darius Slayton, or even Amari Cooper if the price is right. They also could go out on a limb and go all out and sign a guy like T. Higgins in free agency. That one's probably going to be tougher to get done simply because, number one, I don't think the Bengals are going to just let him walk like that. I think they're going to probably do everything in their will to try to retain him and re-sign him. You look at a guy like Devontae Adams, who's currently with the Jets in New York. Seems like he's going to want to go wherever Aaron Rodgers might go. He still is under contract with the New York Jets, but the expectation, I think, with Devontae and the New York Jets is that he will be cut and released and obviously free to sign wherever. He has said that he is open to returning to the West Coast, so obviously that would help out the 49ers in that regard. I think everybody can probably see Devontae Adams following Aaron Rodgers wherever he goes and signing there. But the 49ers could be a legitimate option and a legitimate destination for Devontae Adams if he is cut by the New York Jets. So obviously there's a couple different options there within free agency and things of that nature. Obviously, they're not expected to use the 11th overall pick on a wide receiver. But if they wanted to, they could consider Arizona's McMillan, who could be or may be the best player available at pick 11. Other prospects like Missouri's Luther Burden and Ole Miss's Trey Harris could be options in the second round as well, or with a slight trade up. There's another guy that's kind of gaining steam now that Deebo has gone from the 49ers, and that is TCU's receiver Savion Williams. Turn on the tape on that guy. Plays exactly like how Brandon Ayuk played. He's a bigger downfield threat target, phenomenal route runner, super athletic. That could be an intriguing option for the 49ers in the draft as well. But we'll see what happens. I mean, last offseason, the 49ers signed Chris Conley and Trent Taylor while they drafted Ricky Pearsall and Jacob Cowing. But given Deebo's departure, expect them to kind of follow a similar plan, I would imagine, in the coming weeks by signing a couple veteran guys and then obviously addressing the rest of this with potential draftees or maybe a big time guy. Maybe they go out on a limb and sign a big time guy in free agency. However, I think what I would expect the 49ers to do, given free agency's coming up and the draft is coming up, I think they're going to sign a guy like Robert Woods, Slayton. Rondale Moore is another guy that's pretty intriguing that would fit perfectly into this system. Is kind of like a Deebo Samuel and when it comes to his play style. Amari Cooper would even be an intriguing option as well. I would expect them to sign a veteran free agent like one of those guys, but I would also expect them to go out in the draft and take a wide receiver with a mid to late round pick. So that would be my guess on how the 49ers plan to replace Deebo Samuel, knowing that he's traded. It's still crazy to me. Obviously, I think, I expected Deebo to be traded, right? Like, I think everybody expected Deebo Samuel to be traded, and it was going to happen. Like, him being traded was inevitable. I just think it's so... I think what surprised me the most and I guess was the most surprising thing that went into this trade situation with Deebo, it happened so fast. The report came out on Super Bowl Sunday that he requested a trade from the 49ers during his exit meeting with the team. And then a couple hours later, it was reported that the 49ers will grant Deebo Samuel permission to seek a trade. And now, not even a month later, he's officially a Washington Commander. It's just crazy to me how fast stuff happens. And even though I was, anticipating the trade news and anticipating Deebo being moved, it's still surprising to me that he's a Washington Commander. It's still not really kicked in yet that he's off the team. And it's probably not going to until I see him next season playing for the Washington Commanders. So, man, what a shakeup over the last 24 hours by the 49ers. But look, I think they got better, man. I genuinely do. I think it was good for them to have a team take on the remaining of his contract. I I think a fifth-round pick, 49ers have drafted some top-tier fifth-round picks. George Kittle was a fifth-round pick. So I think for me, getting a fifth-round pick in return, Dre Greenlaw was a fifth-round pick as well. Keep forgetting about Dre Greenlaw being a fifth-rounder. So 49ers have drafted pretty damn good fifth-rounders in recent memory. So, obviously I wish they could have gotten a fourth-round pick or something like that. But at the end of the day, man, it needed to happen. A team needed to come and get Deebo. It was always the right time to trade Deebo Samuel following this season. And, Deebo gets a fresh start. The 49ers get rid of his contract. They're going to be able to have some of these younger guys step up big time. The receiving core is going to look a lot different. I mean, even without Deebo and if Brandon Ayuk's traded, it's going to be a complete new unit. And obviously, we've seen a glimpse of that last year when in games that Deebo was out. And then Ricky Pearsall and Juwan Jennings was kind of their top targets. But I'm ready to see the 49ers bring in some guys that can get separation, some good route runners, some good downfield threats. I think it's clear that's the direction that the 49ers want to go. I think they want to get rid of some of the guys that, aren't good route runners, can't get separation that well. Ricky Pearsall's a guy that's a great route runner and can get separation. Juwan Jennings is. Brandon Ayuk is. I think they're going to get a guy in free agency that's a downfield threat and that can, come in and be a good route runner. And I think it's safe to say that the way that Brock Purdy plays, he needs receivers that can create separation off the line and be good route runners. And I think getting rid of Deebo helps this 49ers wide receiver group be nothing but complete route runners and guys that can get separation off of the line of scrimmage. So I think it's easy to say that that's kind of the direction that the 49ers want to go in terms of, their new and revamped receiving core going into 2025. But that would be my plan for the 49ers. It's to sign a veteran guy like a Rondale Moore, Amari Cooper, Robert Woods, a guy like that can come in, that can be a productive wide receiver. Darius Slayton's also an intriguing guy. But I also think at the same time, I think they're going to go out on a limb in the draft and take a young guy. Take a young guy like a Savion Williams. That would be my pick personally in a later round. That's a great route runner, downfield threat. And I think that only helps Brock Purdy and his play style moving forward. So that would be my plan on how the 49ers, I think, will replace Deebo Samuel. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. What free agent receivers do you guys think the 49ers could bring in? Who do you guys think they should target in the NFL draft? With that being said, as always, go Niners. I'll see you guys in the next one.